Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sniper West from WizardSportsPicks.com. I'm here with the Wizard. This is another edition of the Wizard's Crystal Ball post Super Bowl 60 edition. Super Bowl 60 is now in the books. And, it wasn't much of a game. It's quite a blowout. It pretty much went exactly how a lot of people thought it would go. I know the books, took a lot of Seattle money. Everybody thought Seattle would do quite well. And Seattle did well. I'll tell you what, the final score, 29-13. That's not indicative at all of, it almost seems like it was a close game. It wasn't a close game. That game was over pretty much from kickoff. I'm sure you probably with me, Wiz, but my most important question is, did you make your stew? You said you usually make your stew on Sundays. How'd the food situation go down at the house?
Oh, the stew was fantastic. This short rib meat I get from actually a real butcher, not a supermarket. It was fantastic. And my wife she follows no recipes, and every stew is different. Every dish she cooks is different because it's just off the top of her head. And she just put it all together on this day. It was just like it was perfection. I mean, I ate double the portion
Yep.
that I normally eat, probably a pound and a half of the stew meat, but it was fantastic. It was
There you
far
go.
superior than the game itself.
There you go. Yeah, I was down at South Point, and I got there late, man, and it was so busy. Me and my buddy, there was literally not even a seat, so we just decided to leave. Went back to the pad and ordered pizza. So nothing crazy at all on our end as far as
Right.
the food situation. Just some pizza, and a couple coldies, and that was about it. But yeah, we could talk about the game a little bit. As far as New England goes, so New England ran the ball for 79 yards. They couldn't do much running the ball. They couldn't do much passing the ball. Obviously, Kenneth Walker III was the MVP. He ran for, I believe, about 140 yards or so. Sam Darnold did enough. He did enough not to screw things up. He did throw a touchdown pass, and I think we can officially lift the bust tag off of him. Although I don't think he was a bust. I mean, when he was drafted by the Jets, he was a little green behind the ears, no pun intended. And he would make mistakes, and he wasn't the quarterback then that he is now. He's learned a lot. He's matured a lot. If you remember, he was actually the backup quarterback for the 49ers for Brock Purdy, right, when they played in Vegas against the Chiefs. So, he had some growing up to do and some maturing to do, which I think he's done so, and he is now a Super Bowl champion. But what were your thoughts about the game? Anything stick out to you, Wiz?
Well, the first part, the basic elementary part of the game was um, I always thought the NFC was a lot better than the AFC. And we talked a lot about New England's strength of schedule, and they're for one game, anything can happen, but it obviously was exposed here that that clearly Seattle was the better team, in especially defensively, game planning, scheming. Um, what really hurt, if you look at the defenses on both sides, Seattle's defense and New England's defense, they both did. Seattle's defense was outstanding. I mean, they
Yes.
they were rushing with four. You couldn't run on them with four. Some safeties would come and charge in, you know, um, but you couldn't run on them. And the real weakness of New England was exposed, and that's the left side of their offensive line. I mean, he had no May had no chance a lot of times when they got through that left side, and that's when they tackle. I think he was sacked what, six times, something like
Six
that.
times, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that left side, he had no time. He was out of the pocket, forced out of the pocket, had to run right. Um, he was off his game too. So he's been in the league 2 years. He had an outstanding season. But when you have a real grizzly, well coached veteran defense that can scheme for, perfect scheme for that game, he's just was, his inexperience showed. but it's not just on him. You know, he made us some inaccurate throws, which you rarely. I mean, his throws, some of them were awful,
Yeah.
and that's a lot on him, and some was on the pressure he got. But he was rattled. He was rattled, and he never could get into. I mean, made a couple great passes at the end of the game for that touchdown,
Yeah.
and we know how good he is and how good he will be. But on this game, it was just too much to overcome. And as it turned out, there's no doubt the better team won. And, I every bet that I made was with Seattle. I did not bet them on the like I mentioned on one of the shows or our show, that when the line first came out, I was ready to bet a few thousand on them. If I can get 2.5, I would have bet half that amount on three. Was it when it was to 3.5? I decided to pass. Um, I
Right.
just, a lot of these games were close. I thought Seattle was, had maybe a 70%, 75% chance of winning, so I was a little creative in my betting. I probably bet a total of 5,000, which is probably about a third of what I normally would bet on an opinion. An opinion. I always overbet the Super Bowl, but who
Yeah.
doesn't? Okay,
Yeah.
but
Right.
a $5,000 bet was just, you know, usually if I could have gotten Seattle at 2.5, it would have probably been a $10,000 to $15,000 bet total. So what I did was I took a couple teasers first I teased Seattle, and I got lucky. I teased them getting plus 1.5 with the over 39 and a half. And
Okay.
then I middled it. I took for less Seattle and the under 51.5. So I got lucky because I was dead to rights going into the fourth quarter. I mean, I don't
Pretty
know.
cool.
I think New England didn't have a score, right? Where I think they were
Yeah.
basically shut out. I mean, that was ridiculous. Like, to me, to middle that game, like,
Yeah.
there was no hope. And then when he caught the ball at the end basically nearly off the turf and walked in, I
Yeah.
said, "Holy shit! I may win. I'm going to win this." But there was still an outside chance for a backdoor cover. And
Yeah.
you never know. It's crazy. So I did that, but I lost some money. So I also did two NCAA basketball teasers into Seattle. I had a NC Wilmington. They were playing Towson, and I took NC Wilmington. This was like a week ago or 10 days ago. So you get 4 points where I bet 4 points on baskets, and the same six on football.
Right.
So I won the NC Wilmington. So going into Seattle game, I had plus 1.5. And then I had another teaser. I lost one of the teasers. So I bet three. So I was alive with two for good money, but I lost one earlier because the basket game didn't win. Then the other thing I did, and I lost. Well, I lost. We hit a couple of our props, and then I um, bet a couple props with the receiver for Seattle, over seven
Jansen.
and over. I lost that. Um, but at the end, so basically, I'm staring at live betting at three different operations,
Right.
looking for anything. I'm not playing because they juiced the crap out of the lines. I actually took a picture of list just because I wanted to tell the viewers and you like the joke of it all. And my wife is there on the couch, and I'm like bitching and complaining about DraftKings and FanDuel and other places like juicing the lines. And she says to me, "Michael, you can't be so negative. You can't be so negative." And I'm saying, this is criminal, though. This is actually criminal. So listen to this. So I take these two pictures. So the score's 19-0, right? And if you wanted to bet Seattle at that,
Right.
on the money line, it was 50,000 to 1, 50,000, right? Like here, 50,000. You can take a look.
Wow.
50,000. I don't know if you see it, right? You see it? You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get you got to like 50, what is it? Five and four zeros. Am I mistaking it? Is it 50,000 or 5,000? What's five and four zeros?
Yeah. Was
What
uh, when when was that? Was that after halftime?
so the game, no, it's 19, whenever it was 19 nothing. Okay. I think that's probably the third
Gotcha.
quarter.
Okay.
So it's 50,000. But if you
Right.
want to take New England, you're getting 3,000. So they juice the line
I
to
know.
43,000.
Unbelievable.
So like an idiot, I don't bet then. But here's another one. Here's when I did bet, but I'm just another sucker. Okay. So here it is, and it's 5,000, right? 5,000, right? And then if you want New England,
Right.
1,300 and 1,300. So I bet 150 at 13. Now they had
Wow.
scored. They had scored at that point. And I knew that something freaky would
Okay.
have to happen if New England, but I figured I bet 150 to win like eight, I don't know, six, not, almost $2,000. But if you look at like what they
Right.
do to juice these lines, they're going to even suck a pro like me in just to make a couple thousand in case for 150 throwaway bet.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They juice them so bad. It's not a 30-cent line. It's not a 50-cent juice. It's not a, it's like 1,000, whatever it is. It's ridiculous. And I'm
Yeah. It's a
bitching
lot of chalk.
in my living room like thievery, thievery, thievery. And my wife is saying, negativity, negativity. And then I make the bet and I go, sucker, sucker, sucker. So,
Yeah.
so all in all, I made a few shekels. I mean, it was you know, just wanted, I didn't really have a strong opinion though. It was just, I thought Seattle was the better team. I'm not going to lay the wood. How do you make money out of here? And that's what I did. Do you know that
Yeah.
Seattle's the only team in history to win a Super Bowl without a turnover in the playoffs?
Wow.
I'm reading the
That's a great
only team
stat.
in history to win a Super Bowl without a turnover in the playoffs. And in the regular season, they had the
Unbelievable.
second most turnovers. I mean, how
Yeah.
about that?
That
How
goes back
about
to
that as a
that.
fitting
Yeah.
end to a weird year?
Yeah. That it goes back to Sam Darnold just, maturing and, doing the right thing at the right time, protecting the football. I give him a lot of credit. Going back to Drake May, he got sacked 6 times for negative 43 yards, but he had already been sacked 15 times in the playoffs coming into that game. So that's 21 sacks he took in the playoffs. I mean, that's, they got to shore up that offensive line in the offseason, which I'm sure they will. Vrabel's a fantastic head coach, and I'm sure they'll take a look at that via the
You,
draft and via free agent.
the best part of this show for me, the best part of the Super Bowl, you know what it was? It wasn't Bad
The
Bunny at
halftime show.
halftime. No, it wasn't the halftime show. But which was it? I have mixed feelings about that. I didn't think it was awful, but I didn't think it was, you know, I I I actually got up and danced a little bit with my wife. So that was good. But the best
Nice.
part of the whole show was listening to Kyle Shanahan. 2 hours
Yeah,
between. Did you have a chance to listen to him?
I did. I listened a little bit, and they were. I watched Colin Cowherd sometimes in the morning, and he was playing a bunch of excerpts from him being on. He was fantastic. Obviously great head
Fantastic.
coach. Yeah, it's a great head coach.
He,
So he's
he
going to have some
almost
good
he
analysis.
almost convinced me to lay the 5 or the 4.5. I mean,
Yeah,
you have all these talking heads, that are just, I can't even listen to them. And here's Kyle Shanahan, one of the top coaches in the game, who plays Seattle twice a year, and he's going through every scheme that they're going to throw at New England. And he's basically saying New England can't win this game, right? He can't, but he's giving you like real technical, like he's actually pointing out things that actually happened. Like
Right.
New England's left side of their offensive line is not going to be able to contain these two guys rushing, right? He's going to force Darnold out of the pocket. Darnold's the one that's going to see ghosts. Not Darnold. May is going to be the one that's going to have trouble. And you listen to a guy like that. Now that's different. This guy is just a tremendous coach.
Yeah. It's almost a shame that he's such a good coach that we'll never hear him be a full-time analyst, right?
And he was good too. He was actually really good. I mean, like a lot of these guys like Romo and Brady and I don't know, the guy from the Cowboys,
Aikman.
Yeah, they're all developed time. It takes time to develop into a good, commentator. But Shanahan was polished. I mean, that guy came on. He didn't mince words. He didn't, you understood everything. He broke it down where you can understand it. I was impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very informative, absolutely. And obviously that's his hometown. It's the stadium he plays in. So I'm sure he didn't have to drive too far, right, to get to the stadium. So it probably worked out for him. It pretty much went down exactly. So I released the under. I had the under in the game, which did hit. It was a little bit of a sweat late. New England, they didn't score at all the first three quarters. All of a sudden they put in 13 at the end of the game. But, that game was pretty much going under the whole way, if you think about it. As far as my props, so I had Sam Darnold under 113 pass yards for the first half and Drake May under 101. Those both cashed. And I had another one I released was Jason Myers over 8.5 total kicking points, which it seemed like he was kicking every 5 minutes in that game. So that went well over. I took George Holani, the Seahawks backup running back, over 1.5 receptions. That lost. And then the Sam Darnold prop, Wiz. So I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened because it was over 5.5 rushing yards for Sam Darnold. Okay. So I'm watching the game with my buddy. He knows what I'm on. He knows I took that prop. And I see Darnold run for 11 yards. He scrambled and got a first down in the third. So I high-five him like, boom, hit another prop, right? And I go look this morning. I look at the stats. It says he only had 5 rushing yards.
How does that happen?
I don't. Well, sack yards do not count toward your rushing total. And I don't remember him kneeling out because New England finished with the ball. You know what I mean? So they didn't kneel out or anything. So, and I remember even looking. I looked at his stat total, like in the third quarter. It said he had 11 rushing yards. All of a sudden, I looked this morning and it finished at 5. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe sack yards do accumulate toward your rush yards. I didn't think they did. But maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what happened. But I lost that by the hook. Couldn't believe it.
I'm shocked too. I think we were both on. Wasn't that one of ours that we played?
Yeah. We had talked about that one, over 5.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, that's like that tough beat when I woke up in the morning. I actually won that game. Remember that basket game? I think we were. I was calling like this is the opposite. Wonder if when did they make the change? Was it in the? I mean, because at night I went back. It was 11.
Yeah, it must have been either in the fourth quarter or after the game because I looked and he had 11 rushing yards in the third quarter. So maybe he got sacked. I don't know. If there's some viewers out there, if you want to leave comments, maybe let us know if you guys know, or if you can let us know that sacks do count toward your rushing yardage because I did not think that he did. I could be wrong about that. But, if you guys can like and subscribe to the video, first of all, and maybe leave a comment letting us know if that's the case, or maybe you know what happened. But, no, they didn't kneel out because I had talked about kneeling out at the end of the game, and I was worried about that. But they didn't finish with the ball, so not sure what happened there. But
another thing I got to say is that, the last running back to win the most valuable player was Denver's Terrell Davis. And I think it was 1997.
Wow.
But I have to say that Kenneth Walker was brilliant. And they had he had one play that was like you're watching Gale Sayers, that he got the ball. Do you remember this play? And he stopped. He hesitated.
Yeah.
And so he gets the ball. and he's ready to run. He stops because there's no opening. He actually hesitates for like a second and a half,
Yeah.
and then he cuts right into a hole, and he just goes right through for, I don't know, 10 yards, whatever.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It was like watching, Gale Sayers or Walter Payton.
Yeah.
And then,
Who used to do that a lot was Le'Veon Bell from your Pittsburgh Steelers.
yes,
He would
yes,
dance right there at the line of scrimmage, wait for a hole to open up, and then hit the hole.
yeah.
But it's
And
funny. It almost looks like they just stop and they quit playing football for a second.
yeah, and they had such a great game plan. Kubiak, who goes now to the Raiders.
Right. Right.
So I think that's Kubiak's 6th team in 6 years. He's this
Wow.
guy. Yeah. So Kubiak had a great game plan to get Walker in space. So if you see everything, a lot of his runs were to the outside, and they couldn't cover him. He was just too quick to the outside, and then he would go run down the line for big yards.
Right.
And I mean, they had I'll tell you, that McDonald, I mean, to be 39 years old, and like, this guy 10 years ago was going to go into business. He was not going to stay in the profession. And then he worked for the Ravens. He comes from, I think, Alabama. He was Georgia or Alabama. But think about that.
Mm-hmm.
He's 39 years old. And I mean, I think the only ones younger than him, McVay, right? McVay's in his 30s. And
That
there's
is true.
someone, it's a whole
And they
different
both
ball
have Super
game
Bowls
now.
now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. What an accomplishment. And every interview I saw, they have nothing but great things to say about him. And the general manager getting guys, from other teams this year, free agents, and, picking up guys that stunk for the guy that stunk for the Jets. Now, he didn't stink for the Jets. He was really good, but he couldn't. He wasn't played correctly. Hamilton, forget his name, the defensive guy for the he played quite a bit for the Jets, but like, this guy picked up a bunch of players this year, and they didn't start out strong, and they just got better and better and better. And this defense wasn't quite like the Legion of Boom, but they weren't too far. What do they call it? The Black Knight or the Dark Knight, Dark Side? The Dark Side, I think. Their defense.
Yeah. It used to be Legion of Boom, and now it is the Dark Side. So it takes you back. Probably you remember way back in the day. You guys had the Steel Curtain right there in Pittsburgh. The Doomsday Defense in Dallas, the Purple People Eaters in Minnesota. I'm sure that's taking you down memory lane.
These games really are won in the trenches. They're won a big part of the game is in the trenches. And the Steelers won it in the trenches.
Yeah.
I mean, they creamed that left side of the line. I mean, it's almost was non-existent. They got, that's a big part of something they have to clean up next year. But I'll tell you got to hand it to the Patriots. They had one hell of a season. They really did. I mean, weak schedule or not, they just, you can't. And Drake May was, he just, I think he was second in the MVP balloting, but he had a champion. He could have been the MVP. I mean,
they could have.
He did enough. Right.
Yeah. Well, looking ahead, Wiz. So next year's Super Bowl, which will be played in Los Angeles, we have the Houston Texans 22-1, Denver Broncos 20-1, Chicago Bears 20-1, the Jacksonville Jaguars 18-1, San Fran 16-1, New England 16-1, Detroit 16-1, Philly 14-1, the Chargers 14-1, the Chiefs 14-1, Packers 14-1, Bills 12-1, Ravens 12-1, Rams 9-1, and your world champion Seattle Seahawks are 8-1 next year to win the Super Bowl.
Just shows you like there's a lot of parity. I would never bet those futures at those prices right now. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not, there's too much. It's a crapshoot. I mean, so much happens, so much. Like basketball futures, NCAA basketball futures, you're going to get odds just what they are like today. If you wait another 3 weeks, the favorites may adjust a little bit, but the futures are really, unless you're taking a big price, like, 25-1 or higher, it's useless in my opinion. 10, 12, 14-1, it's not something I recommend.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know, half these guys could be traded to a different team. You don't know how the rosters are going to look, injuries and such. And I'll be interested to see. I think the Rams can do well. They got to, obviously, we don't even know if Stafford's coming back. He still hasn't even announced that, but I'm sure he'll probably come. He just won the MVP. It'd be crazy if he retired after winning the MVP, But yeah, I keep an eye on the Detroit Lions, though. They did not make the playoffs this year. Dan Campbell, say what you want about him. Yeah, he makes some questionable decisions here and there, but for a team that didn't make the playoffs, they're probably going to be coming back. Very upset about that. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting NFL season next year. That's for sure.
The only bet I have for you, Sniper, is that the Jets will never win another Super Bowl unless you resurrect Joe Namath. Yeah. I mean, they'll never, and I'm New Yorker, and but I will say the Giants could have a better year.
Yeah, under Harbaugh for sure. Where are the Giants here? New York Giants 45-1 right now. So
I think you'll definitely, because I do like their quarterback. They had injuries. I think they have some receivers. They have weapons. They have an okay defense. If they, depending on the draft and some trades, I wouldn't sleep on it with 45-1. Now that if you wanted to take a flyer for $20, that that's at least you're getting 45-1 on something that, there are some ingredients there that could make them quite a bit better than they have been,
Yeah, you're getting Malik Neighbors back. You are getting Cam Scatterbo back, new head coach. And so we'll see what happens with him. But anyway, Wiz, so it's been fun. It's been a fun Super Bowl, and it's been a fun NFL season. I made some money this football season. I had yet another profitable season. The playoffs,
good.
The playoffs, I did not do as well as the regular season, but I crushed the regular season this year in the NFL. I was up quite a bit of units. So
it's amazing how that works. Is that, some years you can have a great year handicapping and betting sport, a certain league, and another year you can stink it up. I mean, it's just crazy. You just feel like you're in tune or you're not, in tune. But we have basketball. Now we switch our eyesight to college hoops, and, that's a game I love.
Absolutely.
And we had a good one tonight, Arizona, Kansas, and
absolutely.
That's a Final Four matchup or a championship matchup.
Absolutely.
I mean, not potentially, but actually the feel of it, the feel being in at Kansas's home field,
Allen Fieldhouse.
That's a tough place to play.
Absolutely.
And I go to the Final Four with my son, and I always look forward to that. It's last year we went to San Antonio. The year my son was on the national championship team at Louisville, 2013. It was in Atlanta. And there's some good places, where they have these Final Fours. It's a lot of fun.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Wiz. Well, make sure you go check out the website, everybody, wizardsportspicks.com. And please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. It does help our analytics as well. And this is Sniper West. And for the Wizard, we will be back on Wednesday. We do the show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It'll probably release in the evening sometime. And yeah, go check out the website. We've got a lot of handicappers over there. You can go grab a package. I have a 2-pack up tonight. I have an NBA and a college basketball play. And yeah, so we will see you all next time on Wednesday. And this has been another episode of the Wizards Crystal Ball. Wiz, see you on Wednesday.
Okay, I'll be
let's
there.
go win some money.
Thanks a lot.